Greetings everyone, welcome to this new video. We're gonna take a look at how to set up your own Shaper Stronghold on your Atlas. So you might be wondering, why would I need to set up my own Shaper Strongholds? What are the benefits to doing so? So first of all, we want to start with, in 3.7 we got a major buff to Shaper Influence and Shaper Stronghold. Now they spawn more mobs that are specific to this kind of influence, and they also spawn more Shaper balls that's running around on the map, and as soon as you walk into them they spawn even more mobs into this. Each extra mob to the map give you extra currency, extra gear and so on, but most importantly it drops more maps. That means you can sustain it, so if you combine that to your Elder Orb and making a map which have the Shaper Stronghold on it into a tier 16, you are really gonna benefit from the extra mobs and extra things in there. That means you don't need to buy maps from others, and you do not need to maintain anything in this, because as soon as you have set up this, and as long as you don't kill the boss, which is the only negative thing here that I can think of, you can do this infinite. There's zero maintenance that go into all these Shaper Strongholds. So as soon as you set it up, you're done. It's gonna take a little while, and it's gonna be a few easy steps, but it's gonna be a little bit time consuming. You've been warned. So without further ado, let's just jump into the steps. For starters, we're gonna need to clear the Atlas from things we do not want. Right now I have my Elder Influence right here, so we're gonna need to clear that from the Atlas. I'm doing that by running some of these maps. So I'm gonna run the Sunken City and see how much disappears. That's probably the wisest choice, because then Valve Pyramid and Sunken City is both gonna disappear. And then we're just gonna run whatever is left over here. And when I've done this, that means I have a clear Atlas from all the Elder Influence, and I can have a clear slate where I can spawn it wherever I wanted to spawn, which is gonna be around burial chambers, because I've already set up my Shaper Stronghold before on beach, so I want to just try it if I can set it up over here instead. It's more a learning curve for me. So also if you have like me here, if I was gonna set it up on beach here, I would also use an Unshaping Orb. The Unshaping Orb is because we're gonna run a lot of these beach maps if we were gonna set it up on beach, but we're not, but we are gonna just take it back anyway. You're gonna run a lot of these, and you're better off running low tier ones because it's much cheaper to set it up. So when you have the Shaper Stronghold already set up, then you use the Elder Orb on top of that map. Don't use it before, and if you already have one, use it this recipe right here to get the Unshaping Orb and take it back and then apply it. It's not gonna cost too much, and there we have it. So I'm just gonna take this one, go in and take back my map here, and there we go. Now we can go to Sana again and take your Elder Orb. There we go. Now I can apply it to whatever I want, but do not do this yet. We're gonna do that as the last step of this video. So let's go to the next step. Now when we've cleaned the Atlas from our Elder Influence and we have taken back our Elder Orb, as you can see here and here, we are free to spawn our Elder Influence wherever we want it on the Atlas. So there's a thing to remember here. Whatever tier we choose to run now, the Elder Influence has a chance to spawn on any of that tier. So if we take tier 4 here, for example, I'm gonna write in 4, and so if we run Fields here, that doesn't mean that Fields is gonna be the one that has the Elder Influence event. It has a chance of getting it, but it also has a chance to get to any other tier 4. So whatever tier you're choosing, it's gonna spawn somewhere on the map on the tier 4s here. So we're gonna use this to our advantage here, because there's only 2 tier 4 maps here, and there's 3 here and 3 here and 2 here. That means we have 10. That means whenever we're trying this, we have a 20% of actually spawning it in the right area, because we have chosen Burial Chamber to put our Shaper Stronghold on. So we want it in this area. So tier 4 is probably not a good idea to start off with. So we're gonna try out number 3 here, tier 3. There's 3 maps here, 3 maps, 2, 2. That means we have 30% chance of spawning it here. That is as good as it is gonna be, I think. So we're gonna actually run our tier 3s. Make sure you do not run anything of the tiers in your area, because we're gonna need those later, so you might want to save those up. So I'm gonna run these or these right here on tier 3, and just until it spawns. So in case it spawns in this area, this area, or this area, because we want it in this, we're just gonna rinse and repeat what we did in step number 1. We're gonna just clear it from the Elder Influence, and then we're gonna run tier 3 again, and we're gonna rinse and repeat until our Elder Influence is actually in the area we want it, and then we can go to the next step. We managed to spawn our Elder Influence in the right area on the first try, mostly because we had more percentage over here, so it was statistically likely to be over here, and we had a little bit luck with us also, because it was only 30%, I guess. So yeah, and if we didn't manage to do this, we would just need to run all the Elder maps again, like we did on step number 1, and then just redo the process all over again. Run any tier you want, where the highest possibility, so tier 3 was it for us here, and then rinse and repeat until you get your Elder Influence in your right area. Something to keep in mind also is to make this faster is that you only kill the boss, because to proc the Elder Influence, the Shaper Influence, or any influence in this map or in this game, you just need to kill the boss. So as soon as you kill the boss, you leave, and because all of these maps are very cheap, because we're running low tier maps. So something to keep in mind when we are doing all these steps is to just run and kill the boss. Don't waste any time on clearing it fully. So off to our next step. For this step, we're gonna surround our desired map, which is a burial chamber here. I have it highlighted with Elder Influence. This is for a later or specific mechanics where Shaper Strongholds can only spawn on map that are not directly tied to a Shaper area. Or I'm explaining it bad, but just trust me on this. This is the mechanics. You cannot do a specific map. It's all random unless you do it like this. So it's still gonna be random, but you can increase your odds like we do with everything on this in this game. So we're gonna run Promenade, and Elder Influence is gonna tie into this. That means every single area here, as you can see, all the lines that goes out have Elder Influence on them right there. Also something to keep in mind, when you on the previous step, when you got the Elder Influence here, there might not be any Shaper Influence around it, so you might not be able to do this. That means you can just run any map on anywhere on the atlas to proc the movement or whatever you can call it. That means I ran a map over here, maybe marshes, then something happens over here. Maybe Shaper Influence get there, maybe the Elder Influence move a little bit. So you can just run as much as you want over here and see what happens with your blob here. But we're just gonna continue here and cover our burial chamber and then run it for our next step. Now when we have managed to cover all the areas with Elder Influence that burial chamber has a connection to, normally we would run this map right now and then just tick the atlas by running any other map. But we're gonna do that a little bit later, because we're in a specific situation where it would not benefit us, because right now we have a Shaper Stronghold over there at Armory and one here at Cells. That means we have the maximum amount of Shaper Strongholds already on the map. So there would be 0 chance for us to get the Shaper Stronghold on our burial chamber at this point. So we're gonna need to run these and then continue with the step. Now when we have only one Shaper Stronghold, that means we have one more Shaper Stronghold to actually be able to proc on this map. So now we're gonna run burial chamber, because all of our maps around is still Elder Influence, so we're gonna run burial chambers and see what happens to it. There we go, I've run burial chamber and this is what happened on the atlas. Now burial chamber has no influence at all, no Elder influence, no Shaper influence. That means we can actually proc our Shaper Stronghold on it. Like this one right here. We wanted to have this kind of circle around here. Now I'm just going to run any map on the Atlas. As soon as I see any Elder influence, then we just need to rinse and repeat. We're going to need to surround it again and then run the burial chamber again and continue like this. If it becomes a stronghold, we're golden. If it becomes shaped, we're gonna need to do the same thing again. So the only good outcome here is if it actually becomes a stronghold. Otherwise, we're gonna rinse and repeat. Sadly, this is what happened when I ran a few maps. I ran them like I picked Strand down here because it's linear, and then I just killed the boss a few times. So I ran a few maps until something actually procced. So this is what happened to Burial Chamber when it procced. It got infected by the Elder influence, which means that we need to start all over from running all the maps with Elder influence here. So we're gonna need to spread the Elder influence to City Square. We're gonna spread to Maze, and then we're gonna need to run Burial Chambers again to get it like its previous state, and hope for the best. I also increased my odds, I believe, by running both Shaper Strongholds. So right now we have no Shaper Stronghold on our whole Atlas, which means that we can proc 2 Shaper Strongholds now. I don't know if this is how it works, but I see no downside by actually taking away both Shaper Strongholds. So let's see if we get a little bit luckier this time. There we go, we managed to set up our Shaper Stronghold on our Burial Chamber. Of course we need to use our Elder Orb after this on it to make it a tier 16 to maximize our profits, but I was just doing this for show right now. We'll see what I do. Most of the time when you set this thing up and you run Burial Chamber in the previous steps, it does not happen like it did for me. I noticed this because I ran it like 10 times until I managed to get the Shaper Stronghold on here. What normally happens is that you just need to buy a bunch of the maps you need. So I have a bunch of Burial Chambers here because the only one that gets affected normally is the Burial Chamber itself or the map you're running. So there's no need to run all the maps around it normally. But in the example I just showed you, then that was needed because you still need to surround it each time. But that happens like 1 out of, I don't know, 7 times maybe. I don't know if I got lucky with mine or that is just the case, and how much influence you have it around might also be affected. Also, something to look out for is that if you have it like me here, you have a lot of influence here. If you reach a point where you get up to 20 influence maps with the Elder influence, you're screwed because you're gonna have Elder spawn then. You're gonna have an Elder spawn on these. That means you're gonna need to clear your Atlas again, run it, because there's no more spreading the Elder. So be on the lookout for that so you do not exceed. I try to keep mine under 15 because you never know how many times Elder will start spreading out in all the directions, especially when you have such a huge area like this. So I think that is all. Hopefully by following these steps you can manage to set up your own Shaper Stronghold on your desired map on the Atlas. But if that is not the case, then just write me a comment and I will try to get back to you as fast as I can. Thank you so much for supporting me by putting a like on this video and subscribe to my channel for future content just like this. Thank you and have an awesome day everyone.